Happening, Cam? What's new with you?
What's good, fam? How y'all doing? The World Cup. I'm interested to hear more about this 4-4-3 record. Is that the definition of mediocrity right there?
Well, to be honest, he was
mostly picking the long shots.
So the reason why I'm doing it that way was because I expected that these teams that I was choosing were not going to be able to, we're not going to go forward into the playoff portion of this. So the fact that they are doing much better than I suspect. So truth of the matter is that I would be betting on these guys to lose, and they're not losing.
Mm.
So, and mediocrity would have been a lot more losses because you're getting 3 points for the win, 1 point for the tie, and 0 points for the loss. So out of 11 matches, I'm already at 16 points, which is pretty good in the grand scheme of things.
Now that's solid, especially picking long shots. Like that's not a bad way to go.
Who's your favorite to win the World Cup? Is it Spain?
Right now you'd have to almost argue about Argentina being the top one. Unfortunately, the one thing that I got to say about Argentina is that it's literally all their goals have been scored by Messi in this playoffs or in this opening round of the cup in the group play. 5 goals scored, 5 all by Messi, and I don't know how I feel about that. Does that mean is he the only one? Are they feeding him purposely? Is he that great of a player? I mean, Ronaldo got 2 goals yesterday. Mbappe has been able to score goals. This has been. When you are playing in the World Cup and you have all of these different teams, they've had, like I said, there's a lot more teams in this World Cup than there's ever been. Usually they only go with 32 and there's 48 this time around. So the fact that there is a lot of teams that aren't in the top 50, we'll call it, in the world, you're going to have some of those great players be able to show their greatness because other teams are in all of them. Like I feel like that the 2 games that Argentina has played, the other team has been in awe of Messi. And because of that, they watch him play rather than defend him. Hence 5 goals. Mm-hmm. But that being said, it's going to be a tough one. Spain, Portugal, Argentina, Brazil. I think those are going to be your final 4 with the possibility of Germany somehow making a stand there.
No U.S., huh?
So the Stars and Stripes go down in this group?
No, not in this group. I think that they make it to the quarterfinals. When they get to the top 8, it's like that's where you're going to start to see like any team in the top 8 is going to be an elite team. And the U.S. is ranked 17th in the world right now. I know that right now it looks like they could play Bosnia-Herzegovina in the round of 32. And that or possibly Egypt. It's going to be a team that's not in that top 50.
Yeah.
And so they should win that game. And then that brings them to the quarterfinals, which also looks like it could be a team that's not top 50. All the tougher games are going to be played in other brackets. So FIFA did the USA a solid by putting the brackets the way they did. And it's going to come out when you get into the Elite 8.
No, that makes sense. And of course, they try and do the host country a solid.
Not all of them. I mean, Mexico's got to do it. Canada's got to do it too. So there's 3 hosts. And Canada's got a tough match today. This is going to be their warm-up, really, for the round of 32. They're going to be playing against Switzerland. And like I said, Scotland has Brazil today. Now games, and FIFA has done things differently this year because they've gone to 48 teams. They are doing group games together so that you don't have a dead game. Now, the USA versus Turkey is a dead game. Turkey is not able to get into the tournament at all.
Yeah.
But most of these groups have something to play for. And now, for the first time ever, these groups are going to be playing 2 games at the exact same time so that you can't now I know that if I tie this game, the team, this team and my team makes it. And that's where they've had a couple of issues in the past where teams know what they're going to do. Go back to the Raiders and Chargers. Had they tied the game, they would have both made it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
That there's a lot of that happens in FIFA, and they decided this year that they're going to stop that.
Okay.
There's a lot when you say there's a lot of that happens this year. Is it when the teams from the same division play each other and they would be playing for a playoff appearance?
Correct. So there's going to be certain spots in certain group play. Because in group play, you only play the 3 other teams that are in your group. So there's 4 teams in each group. Because of the way things operate there, it's possible that a team has already qualified for the playoffs. And ultimately, if they, it doesn't matter if they win or lose. And the other team would know that if they win, then they get in. There's certain times where if they play to a tie, both teams get in.
Yeah. But then you call a timeout and you find a way to lose.
Yeah. You decide to go for it on 4th down.
So, and that's where they're trying to get that eliminated to a certain extent. They want these teams to play every minute of every game and not have a reward for playing for a draw.
Yep.
Talking about a reward, was Boston Celtics, are they being rewarded by the keeping Jaylen Brown, or are they going to work that out to where Jaylen Brown gets awarded his own team?
I mean, does Jaylen Brown want to stay there?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Are they going to award Jaylen Brown his own team and excommunicating him out of Boston? Since Giannis decided to go to Miami and Boston finally put up Jaylen Brown, admit that they were putting up Jaylen Brown. Does Jaylen Brown go on the trading blocks? In your opinion, either one of your opinions.
I mean, he's already on the trading block. That's why we're having this conversation, because his name keeps popping up as a possible moving piece. So,
but do they actually trade him though? Do they actually move him before the season starts?
I mean, if the deal's right, like if you're doing anything for draft picks this year, you got to get on it though.
So I asked this yesterday. I'm going to ask this of you today because I can imagine that your opinion is probably going to be similar, but you surprise me all the time. So let me ask you this. I mentioned that obviously Jaylen Brown could be disgruntled. He could be a disgruntled employee. And although it may seem very strange that these guys would be trade partners, would you trade Jaylen Brown for Joel Embiid?
No, absolutely not. I don't even have to think about that one. No, why would Boston give you Jaylen Brown, who was in the MVP candidacy last season. Trade for Joel Embiid, who doesn't play a full season ever. Why would Boston do that?
I didn't say that it was a great trade. I'm just looking at it. I was saying it more as a Philadelphia fan trying to do whatever I can to get rid of Joel Embiid and putting that into the mix. If that you have a disgruntled employee and his value has gone down now, the moment that you have gone out and said, hey, we had him in the trade block for Giannis, and now that's no longer viable because Giannis is now a member of the Heat. Does Brown get some say?
Has his value gone down? Has Jaylen Brown's value gone down?
I don't know that it's maybe going down isn't the best way to express that. The fact that it's become public may have created a situation that other teams choose to not give as much.
Yeah, sure. But if I'm Boston, if I'm Brad Stevens, you can't just trade Jaylen Brown for it's not addition by subtraction. I don't think that. I don't feel that way. Obviously, I haven't had a conversation with Jaylen Brown, but I don't think it's addition by subtraction. You just get rid of him just to get that attitude out of your room. I don't see Jaylen Brown as that type of character. Obviously, he's expressed he wants to be the man. He said he had his best season. Now, a lot of people have taken that the wrong way. I don't see why the man couldn't have had his last season when he was the guy on the team. Clearly, I don't see why that's a problem for him to say that was my best season. That was the most fun I've had. I don't see why that's a problem. Because he was the guy. He was getting to be the leader of that team. Sure, they won in the past, but in the past when they won, he wasn't the guy. It wasn't all on him. This season, it was all on him. They had a better record than anybody anticipated. I think that speaks to his ability to be a good teammate. I think that speaks to his ability to actually lead the team. So I don't see why there was a big hubbub about him saying, this was my best, this is the most fun I've had. It was clearly he was in charge and he was the guy. There was no deferring whatsoever. He did that in the past. Now he gets a chance to be the lead guy on the show. I don't see why that was a big controversy. That was very self-explainable. That was very self-explainable to me that the guy would say. Now him coming out and say it the next day after the season's over, it was it was a little bit fresh, but I could understand where he was coming from.
I just like that our demo switched to like 80-year-old grandmas using words like hubbub.
At least they're versatile, Bo. We're bringing a versatile audience regardless of the age.
That's right.
No, that was that's Jaylen Brown. I think they could run it back with Jaylen Brown. I think that's his type of demeanor. Actually, when the season gets going, now again, he's going to have his chance to get off the game, go talk to the press, or go talk to his Twitch stream. I kind of ignore some of that. I just look at what the player does. Now, obviously, I don't see him the kind of guy going in the locker room, cussing people out, pulling up everybody's card in the locker room. I don't see that as that type of guy, but I'm not in the locker room.
I don't know. You got to be careful on those Instagram lives. They can hurt your career a little bit.
Yeah, if you divulge a little too much, his Twitch stream, Jaylen Brown, hold off on the Twitch stream, okay, bro? Yeah. Let's win another championship before you become an all-time Twitcher, okay? Happy home day. Happy home day. The Giannis to Miami, where does that put Miami in your rank? Does that put them above Philly?
It makes them a contender.
I think it moves up to 4th or 5th easily.
Yeah, that's kind of where it is. I feel like that's they're in the log jam now, and it's like it's Philly's in the log jam. Well, no. But I 100%. You asked the question. I'm saying that I feel like that they're in the log jam now. I feel like that Cleveland's in the log jam, Toronto's in the log jam, the Sixers are in the log jam. All of them, all those teams are all about the same. And I feel like that the Bucks, although the Bucks were like out of it, they were in the log jam a minute ago. You know what I mean? So the fact that, really Giannis quit on the team, which I feel like they quit on the team the moment that they got that coach, because I know exactly how good of a coach he was. And ultimately, I feel like that they realized, all right, this is not going anywhere. We have to cut ties and move forward. And let's get as much asset as we can from this and figure it out from there on how we decide to go with life outside of Giannis. I don't think that Giannis is different than Embiid in that he plays all the time and that he's a great player. He's not the elite player. Like if you were to ask me who would I put better in terms of straight, in terms of the actual player themselves, I would put Embiid above Giannis, except for the fact that he gets hurt all the time.
I mean, that's
the availability portion is the portion that makes Giannis better.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with Embiid, right? Is you can never trust him to be on the floor.
Do I put Giannis above?
How can you bring yourself to say that, man? How do you? Because Giannis is available, he's explain how you have
your best ability and availability. Like that is a real thing.
It is actually Giannis and Embiid. You saying Embiid is on the same par as Giannis? Did I hear that correctly?
For as far as actual, you put the two of them at both of their prime and against each other, stuff like that. Yeah, I would put Giannis below Embiid. Do I have them in terms of in this NBA right now?
We'll start with the championship. Let's just start there. Who has a championship? Who doesn't?
Yeah, but that championship wasn't one. I mean, Giannis was a part of that, but they had other pieces that was able to win that. Giannis could not do that on his own.
That argument makes you say that Trent Dilfer should have been that Super Bowl MVP.
No, don't do that. Do not do that. Do not do that. That is not. There's no comparison there. That's not even funny. There's no comparison there whatsoever. There's no comparison there whatsoever.
Oh, I was getting ready.
Is Giannis Trent Dilfer? Is Giannis Trent Dilfer? Is Giannis Trent Dilfer or Embiid Trent Dilfer? That comparison didn't even make sense, sir.
Oh, I'm just here to spin the pot, like not even stirring it. I'm just
no, but I would put Giannis as Joe Flacco. I think that's the better comparison in that regard.
Has Joe Flacco been an MVP conversation in his whole career? You guys are disrespecting Giannis.
But that championship.
You guys are disrespecting Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's what you're doing. You guys are not. You guys are clearly disrespecting Giannis. But if that's your prerogative, I don't know how a guy leads this team to an MVP, and now he's as good as Joel Embiid, who has not done that. Joel Embiid got a gift MVP, and they weren't close. They weren't even. Did they make the championship, the Eastern Conference championship?
Oh my Lord! See. This is where I have to, because Embiid should have gotten 2 MVPs before that, and they didn't give it to him for whatever reason. They gave it to Joker instead, and he was so much better than Joker in all the statistics, and they still gave it to Joker, and it didn't matter. So it's like, listen, I get it. I understand that Giannis has got a ring and Embiid doesn't. And if you want to go on that alone, you can make a little bit of an argument there, and I can't fight it. But when you're talking about just straight ability, we can straight ability. The straight ability of those two players, I got Embiid above Giannis.
That's a big homer pick right there. That's.
I don't think
that
so.
Can be anything.
Listen, I have no skin in that game.
Of course. Clearly, you don't think so. But that's a homer pick. I don't know how many of your Tottenham Hotspur buddies would make that same pick, or would make that same selection, or even your Philadelphia Eagles, your Philadelphia 76ers fan would make that same pick. That's bro.
Like it says, when you put the whole everything else into the mix, of course, you have to go with Giannis because he's been the one that's been healthier. He's been on the floor more. He's been around longer. There's been so many more things that he's been able to do because of his availability. But when you just
there it is right there. There it is right there. But I'm sorry. Continue. I shouldn't have cut you off. I'm sorry.
But that's kind of what I'm getting at is that, like, when I'm looking at the straight ability of those two players, I would have to put Embiid better. Now, again, you said it yourself. The best ability is availability.
Giannis has they both have an MVP. Giannis has an extra one. Giannis has a defensive player of the year versus the finals MVP that Embiid does not have. Okay. Embiid, first team All NBA, one time compared to Giannis's 7 times, 9 times All NBA. Thing. Come on, guys, that's an availability thing. That's not even a conversation.
No, but that's an availability.
The conversation is because the guy from Philly.
That's the same thing as AD, right? Could he have been amazing? Sure, but he's not. But he was injured all the time.
And so that's that. I could have been great, Bo. I could have been great, Bo. At 6'3".
You're missing what he's saying. Is his high was better? Like the ability was higher.
That's inaccurate. That's inaccurate. And no, not 1 point.
Well, we understand you think that. I don't care either way. I'm over here without a team.
I feel you. I'm with you, Bo. But you still can look at basketball, and you can still have an opinion. You can still look at the game and make your decision.
I do. I like Giannis.
For somebody to say,
because I like availability.
I mean,
because the availability means a lot, especially in basketball when you only have 12 guys on the field on the court.
How do you even open your mouth to say? How do you then even open? If you're saying availability means a lot, how do you even open your mouth to say that's a comparison?
Well, we would, but you got to stop talking so that we can.
I think that I've been pretty apparent with this. Like I said, the availability comes into play, and that makes Giannis better. Yeah. Just straight ability. If you had the two of those guys and you took out just the actual ability of both of those guys, I would have to say Embiid was better. I would choose Embiid if I was drafting and they were both available in the draft, and they were both in their prime. I'm choosing Embiid over Giannis. Not knowing that, hey, Embiid is only going to play 40% of the games.
No, and that's why I made the AD comparison, right? Is because healthy, the high is amazing. He's just never that. So, I mean, could he have been amazing? I mean, he's already amazing, right? But could he have been so much more? Sure. But he's hurt all the time. And that's Embiid for me. And that's why I would go Giannis here, is because, again, availability is huge to me. I would actually take a lesser talent that's available every day over somebody that is a meteor, but just can't seem to stay on the floor.
Real quick, just because I want to make sure, and this may not seem relevant, but it is. Michael Jordan, was he the first pick in the draft when he got drafted?
I don't know.
He was not.
I think somebody drafted Michael Jordan number 12. What relevance is that?
Actually, I think it was third. Actually, and that. So two teams actually decided to go.
behind Hakeem and my man from Kentucky, Bowie. What's your point?
So,
What's your
well,
point?
I'm just saying that, like I said, two teams decided that there were two guys that were better and had more upside than Michael Jordan.
And your point
and
is
the rest
what?
is history. So the
your
same
point is-
situation here. I think that Embiid was looked at as had a much bigger upside. He just didn't. He didn't produce. He hasn't had the heart to show. Now, if you want to start getting into all of those things about it, I can't argue with you even a lick. I'd have to go with you 100%. If I felt that Embiid doesn't have the heart, like if we're talking about the actual heart to play the game, then I would have to go with Giannis over Embiid, and there's no question about that. And so I'm only taking a very small snippet, not the entire package. That's why Giannis has gotten a trade for, 6 players and 4 picks, and I still have Embiid.
What do you want to do?
There's the answer.
What do you want to? Are you? So it sounds like you're frustrated with Embiid. That sound like. Am I correct in saying that? Are you frustrated with Embiid and his availability? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well,
I'm frustrated.
Is frustrating.
I'm frustrated with the organization as a whole and the way that they have gone about and done things. Now, I am willing to give up a little bit here because they have started to make some changes, and we have to see how those changes start to take effect. So ultimately, I have to relinquish some of my disgust with this franchise because of things that happened in the past moving forward, because now we have a whole new regime starting to try to call the shots.
So was it Daryl Morey that you weren't pleased with? You weren't pleased with Morey?
Well, he was one of the reasons. I felt like that all of basketball operations was poorly run with the Sixers. And in the process of everything, the way that they were manhandled by the NBA a little bit, how they had people put in place. That was a whole different scenario. It's like there's lots of different things that fell into that category on why I am unhappy with ownership. Ownership has made some changes, and now I have to see if those changes are worthwhile. Did they put the right people in place? Did they decide to get a little bit of a Philadelphia flair, which they have? Like I said, they chose a Philadelphia guy to be their vice president of basketball operations. And this guy, and so he knows, Jameer Nelson knows Philadelphia. He knows that fan base. He understands because he grew up in this fan base. So there's going to be a level now of that thrown into the mix where there was none beforehand. And I have to let that come to fruition and see what flowers bloom from these seeds.
I'm interested to see kind of what happens, what they do moving forward. I think they need to lean more into the young guards than Embiid. But the Embiid is, I don't know if Embiid's tradable because of his history. Now, if they can find somebody, if they can talk to New Orleans and see that New Orleans has some interest, maybe that's something that works for them, or Memphis, or I don't know, one of them teams who.
But is it worth it? Is it worth it for us to trade that for Zion Williamson, another guy who's got the same problem?
You know what I mean? Does Zion have the same problem? I think Zion has an atmospheric issue. Now that may travel with him to Philly if he was to get traded. I think it's an atmosphere. Zion needs to be around professional players. In New Orleans, there's no professional players. I mean, they're professional players, obviously. In New Orleans, there's no grown men in the locker room.
New Orleans just rolling out the G League.
No, I mean, when I say that, I mean that there's no professionals in the locker room, no veterans. This is what the NBA is really missing: is there no veterans on these teams? That's would help. So a lot of these younger teams out there. Embiid is a veteran in a sense now, to the point where I think what he's been in the league 8, 9, 10 years maybe, but he still needs somebody, a veteran on his team, to be like, young buck, we need to work out at 7 a.m. Young buck, we need to stop eating at 10 p.m. Young buck, we need, to get him in line. I don't think he's had that. Would it be
to
open
be fair?
Would
to be fair, there's a lot of
point in his
veterans.
career? I don't know. What's that?
To be fair, a lot of veterans in this league aren't that. There's a lot of mentally soft KD type guys.
Well, the veteran
aren't that leader.
The NBA has one of the things that the NBA has switched to go young, and that eliminated that veteran on the team. There's not a lot of veterans, guys with 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10 years of experience sitting on the bench. There's not a lot of that. San Antonio had one of the guys, Bismack Biyombo. Bismack, they weren't expecting a lot from Biyombo, but his main motivation was talk to Wemby and keep Wemby comforted and keep him focused right. He wasn't going to get playing time, but that's the NBA has morphed beyond that point. I think that's something.
Well, what my point is
that's make the league younger, not actually older. I think those veterans they disrespect those veterans, and just not a lot of teams have them. I'm sorry, bro, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I mean, but that's my point. Is there are a lot of those veterans that are around. They just aren't that guy.
No. I don't, Bo. I don't. What I'm saying, and I disagree with you. I don't think there are a lot of those around.
No, what I said is there's a lot of veterans in the league. They're just not that guy. Not that there's not a lot of. Like,
well, that's the guy that pointed out.
There was a shift in this last generation of players that came through.
There aren't. That's the problem. There aren't Kobe's. There isn't Shaq's. There isn't Chuck Barkley.
Guys, it's not the superstar I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the superstar veteran.
We're talking about
the old rugged veteran on the team.
We're talking about leadership traits. That's just an easy example, because remember, this isn't us sitting at a table talking. People are watching this show, so they need somebody that they can recognize a name to. If you come off with some obscure player that nobody knows who they are, but they were a great leader, that doesn't matter because people don't have context. Remember, this is for our viewers, not for us at a table drinking beer.
You can't say the NBA doesn't have a Kobe Bryant, and as Kobe Bryant.
No. But I was looking at him as the leader. Like that he was. What he did best was lead his team. Shaq, that's what he did best. I mean, he was able to be the man and lead his team. Again, I love pulling up this reference, even though I hate the Dodgers. Kirk Gibson. When Kirk Gibson came into the Dodgers and took that over, and I love telling the story where the first day they pulled some practical joke on him, and he's literally tore into the team and said, "This is the reason why you're not winning championships." And then in that year, he hits a home run in the first game of the World Series with a bum leg. You know what I mean? Hurting. You know what I mean? That's a leader. That's somebody who knows how to take his team and elevate them. I feel like that.
Kobe and Shaq never had that experience, never did what you just talked about. Kobe and Shaq never did that. So to put them in a leadership category was I think you were talking about things.
So here's somebody that did, who is in that spot. Andre Iguodala. Andre Iguodala played in Philadelphia and was the man. And then went over to the Golden State Warriors, who had a bunch of great players, and then he was the one that started to solidify things. I will say also Tobias Harris, although he's not a great player, he's able to be the veteran leadership on Detroit.
I would take Iguodala over Tobias Harris. But in this conversation, in this respect, Iguodala was a fantastic reference, a great reference point, where he was a player who showed great leadership and brought the team together. That's what I was talking about when I mentioned the Bismack Biyombo. I wasn't talking about a Shaquille O'Neal or Kobe Bryant. Neither one of those guys had to do that. They were just the best, and led by Shaquille was just the most dominant. And Kobe was trying to be the best of everybody and was follow me. He wasn't a leader in the sense of, hey guys, we have practice at 5:30 a.m. He was a leader in the sense that when you guys get to practice, Kobe's already done his practice and is ready working on the second practice. That was a different type of beast, different type of dude. Andre Iguodala is the guy I was talking about that the veterans that the team needs. Tobias Harris, to a point, I just didn't expect anything out of Tobias Harris this season. He's actually had a better. Tobias is a solid player, a solid basketball player. Just he doesn't rise and he doesn't shine in big moments. So I couldn't have put him in that category. But your Andre Iguodala pull was a great pull, fantastic reference. That is the guy I was talking about. Who the veterans? There's no more of those Andre Iguodala types on a lot of these teams anymore to lead some of these young guys. I'd much rather Andre Iguodala talk to my young player than a Kobe Bryant or a Shaquille O'Neal.
And if you were betting they were never going to agree on anything, you would have won your prop bet. You can use the QR code on the screen. Up to 125% of your first 3 deposits, 10% bet guarantee. Be sure to bet alongside us right here on Coast to Coast.
See, and we did agree. How about that? You'd have lost that bet. But that's how it goes sometimes. Like I said, you're right. I have to agree with you on that. That I feel that there isn't that type of player anymore, and until that player starts to come back into the NBA, that you're going to run into the same issues over and over and over again, and that's what these teams are dealing with. Softness. You have to get player-friendly coaches. You can't get coaches that are going to ride these guys a little bit. And it's, the moment you start to get somebody that does ride them, you get what happened with the Bucks.
That was my point, is you just don't have those guys. It's just a generation gap, right? Like it's a lot of soft players mentally, right? Like, and so the problem with that is you don't have that leader, and that's why I brought up a KD and an AD. Apparently, if you're just letters, it's a problem, but they had all the skill in the world, but anytime they had to be the guy, it just didn't work, right? So if you can't do that, you're also not going to be that guy coming off the bench, helping lead, whatever. That you're not built for that. And unfortunately, there's a lot of that in the league today. Now, I picked them because they're very visible players, but there's a lot of that across the league where it's kind of mentally soft.
Agreed.
So, yeah, there's the league. The league has been enduring a youth movement, and I think the youth movement combined with the coaching, I think it's a combination of the player and the coaching. But then,
well, the problem is the player has all the power in this situation. So they really have no need to be mentally tough, because if they don't like the situation, regardless of the contract, they can be like, I don't want to be here, and force their way out. And so there's no accountability. There's no reason to become that mentally tough leader. Like, there's no reason to, because you can just be like, I don't like the situation. I'm forcing my way out, even though I just signed a Supermax contract and have 5 years left.
Right.
Even though I just signed a Supermax contract. Somebody's...
Wasn't me.
Somebody's audio is getting picked up.
But neither here nor there. Like I said, we could talk about this all day long, and basketball is not going to change. They've already drafted the first round. Hey, listen, why are they still doing the Bronny rule? Day one for draft picks, first round, and then day 2 for second round draft picks.
More money. Well, is there any question about that? More money. Now you get a whole television looking in the next day. I think some reason NFL went to 3 rounds, 3 days of their draft. It's just it's a money grab, right?
I get okay. And that's a good answer. That's as good an answer as any. I didn't watch the first round. I'm not going to watch the second round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're not the target market there, Tottenham.
So, but yeah, hey, listen, it's the Tartan Army coming.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I got to talk about this last night. Last night, Phillies are down to their last strike
Oh, wow.
in the
That was
ninth
crazy.
inning.
That was
In the
wild.
ninth inning. And next thing you know, single. Next thing you know, home run. Next thing you know, guy gets on two guys get on base, another home run. And then the guy who started the whole thing, Turner, who's been maligned lately because he hasn't been hitting the ball at all. But like I said, choked up the bat. See what happens when you choke up the bat a little bit? Didn't strike out. 2 strikes on him, down to our last strike, gets on base. Next thing you know, Marsh hits a home run. Like Marsh has been hitting the ball great. Next thing you know, Schwarber gets on base, Harper gets on base, Stott with a 3-run home run. And we pull it out. We pull out the W. That was a nice win.
Impressive. That was impressive. That was an impressive win. That could be a momentum swing win. Ultimately, that was an impressive win. I give them that. That was an impressive win.
Well, and the one thing that I will say is that the Phillies, over the last 4 years or so, haven't been a team that usually quits at the end. That they are always trying to eke one back. And if you think about it, a couple of years ago, they were the best team with coming back after the 7th. The 7th, 8th, and 9th they were able to come back in a lot of games a couple of years ago. Ultimately, that doesn't equate at the end of the season. When you have to go play some really big games, you do not want to be losing in those games and have to come back because pitching gets better. This was Washington, and this was their closer, who was a pretty good closer. He had like a 2.4 ERA before this night.
And now it's a 10.
They were able to kind of put it all together. And of course, it was like the old Washington team that did it. Turner, Harper, Stott wasn't really on that team, but Stott's played against them for a long time. Marsh has played against them for a long time now. They said they batted around in the 9th inning. 9 batters went up to the plate with 2 outs.
I mean, it's an impressive comeback. So what you end up scoring 8 or 9 runs in the 9th then?
It was 8-6. We won 14-9.
What happened there?
Yeah, I don't know. That was was that a momentum? Did that give you guys a momentum boost here going into the All-Star break or the All-Star break?
That's hard to say. First off, we still have 2 weeks before the All-Star break, which so you could say that this could start the trend. Like, hey, that usually when you have something like this, you then see how the bats come out the next day. Okay, you just had a comeback. Everybody celebrates in the locker room, and that was a great comeback. Now you got the bats the next day. If you're flat, well, there went all that momentum. Mm-hmm. If you come out and you decide to put up an 8 spot, well, there goes a different answer there. It's hard to really determine. Like I said, this was Washington. The Phillies have always beaten Washington. They've always had a really good record against them since they've come into the league. And, you're never really out of it when you're up against those types of teams because sometimes those teams start to beat themselves. I can imagine that the pitcher, once he gave up that home run to Marsh, even though the game was tied, he then lets 2 more guys on and then gives up another home run. Well, I mean, that is a mental error, I feel like. I feel like that they got to him and he gave up the loss. Is that going to happen every day? No. But it was worthwhile to watch yesterday.
That's fair.
Are the Mariners leading the AL West? Is this sustainable, man?
I mean, they're playing 500 ball right now. So, I mean, as bad as the division has looked, sure. That being said, I'm used to the roller coaster ride where they forget how to play baseball for 3 weeks out of the All-Star break. So get back to me in about a month.
So you got the slump coming up. You got the slump coming up, huh?
Again, we just have a track record that I'm used to seeing. And we've been on the track record I'm used to seeing so far this year. So we'll have to wait and see.
Only 1/3 of the teams have above a 500 record in the AL.
Yeah. No, it's rough.
The Mariners are one of them.
Yeah.
Well, it's not impressive. And they're only 2 games ahead of 500. Let's not get carried away now.
Yeah. Right. No, that's what I'm saying.
That's my point.
It's been a fight in the AL in general to win games. The National League is definitely the better of the 2 leagues in that regard. It seems like that most of the games that the NL have played against the AL, the NL have come out as winning those games.
Well, they got the Pirates and the Guardians coming up, so maybe they can fatten up their record a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they beat the Pirates last night, so.
And what I'm happy about is that the Braves are starting to come back down to earth a little bit. Mm-hmm. Phillies are only now 5.5 games out. This is, again, we're not even into the dog days of summer yet. We just had summer start here just a day or 2 ago, so it's not like it's, we're deep into it. But I thought that the Braves were going to eventually have to come back down to earth, that they were playing way above even their means. Mm-hmm. Now 5.5 games is, becoming more attainable, saying that if we get it to within 3 games by the All-Star break, right now the Braves have only won 3 of their last 10. Not that the Phillies are going great. I mean, the Phillies have won, I think they've only won 6 of their last 10. So it's not like that we're going crazy. It's just that we happen to be winning series. That's what you got to do. You got to win series. Yep. And the Mets are doing wonderfully.
Does the lollipop kid turn the Yankees around? Does the lollipop scenario turn the Yankees around? What do you guys think?
The lollipop kid.
Yeah, who are you talking about?
Well, Jazz Chisholm. It was just a situation where the Boone said he didn't. The lollipop shouldn't have been out there on the field, et cetera. What Jazz Chisholm was.
Oh, gotcha.
Hits a home run that hit the home run in the game-winning home run apparently, and now Boone changed his mind. He have many hot lollipops as he likes now.
Listen,
that was just another momentum-changing game. I thought it might have been.
I mean,
they're looking for whatever they can.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you can get anything that gets some momentum, that's gonna change the conversation, right? Like that's because if he would have struck out, it would have been like, why were you out there? So
yeah. I mean, well, they wouldn't have been. He wouldn't have had the rub off if he'd have struck out to end the game. He wouldn't have got the praise for sucking on the lollipop. Now
no, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a little thing.
Listen, Jazz Chisholm is a great player, and God knows he's a Philly killer. He is a
great player.
Good player. Good player. I'll go right there with you. Good player. He's a Philly killer, though. Every time he plays the Phillies, he kills us. I can't stand him.
There you go.
Yeah, I cannot stand him. He was like when he played for the Marlins, he was a Philly killer. So the fact that he plays now for the Yankees just makes me hate him even more so. That being said, this team, the Yankees are only going to go as far as Judge takes them, and Judge is still hurt right now. So when he comes back, that's when you're going to see what the Yankees are really able to do. I feel that they're going to be in the playoffs because, like, even even if they stink for a little while, they're still going to be well above 500, and being above 500 gets you in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Is there you got a favorite for the? Will anybody dethrone the Dodgers?
That's a tough one to turn.
You know, Peg said they were going to miss the playoffs. So
who said
that?
Oh,
yeah, I did. I said
that one. I didn't hear that one.
Don't worry. I have it written down too. So
the team with the greatest player who's ever played baseball is going to miss the playoffs altogether. That's what you
they're not now.
And I also thought, you know, when you saw how this team was constructed and the way that they were putting together all.
Did I lose him, or is that me?
No. His audio just went. I thought it was on my end for a second.
He said, "I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that the Dodgers would not make the playoffs."
When you put together all of these egos, that's when I thought that could create some strife in the dugout.
3 in a row. They're working on 3 in a row.
I understand that, but not every player. Actually, there's like a good half of those players have not won 2 in a row. There's a couple. Half of the team has. The other half of the team hasn't won one yet, and they brought in a lot of players.
So we're not going to follow Shohei. We're not going to follow Mookie Betts. We're not going to follow Freddie Freeman. And they're just saying, so these new guys who come on the team, who's been recently signed, who haven't won, that they're going to become now the.
He's just saying egos could be a problem, and it's not like you haven't seen egos become a problem on good teams.
I think about it. I think about
they're working on 3 championships in a row.
I disagreed with him. I had the Dodgers winning that division. So I mean, you know, it just. But
personality problems. They're winning. I don't know. Their personality happens when they lose unsuspectedly.
Yeah, well, that's all it takes is a losing streak to do stuff like that. Now they haven't had to worry about it, but
yes, that's what I'm saying. They have the best players in the world. What are you talking about? Personality. They just keep bringing champions in there.
That's the point. Is they keep bringing champions in there, so there is the possibility if you struggle to have egos become an issue. You've seen it across multiple sports through the years. Like it happens. But
it hasn't happened to this team. It hasn't happened to this team.
They also haven't had any long losing streak. As they continue
to build this dynasty, what do you guys? Where's the crack? You guys, where's the crack in the dynasty that says they won't?
There's a little too much. We don't have enough time to go into this a little bit. But there is some cracks in this team. I think that you could definitely get to the back of their bullpen and be able to cause issues. The Phillies had their opportunities last year and it didn't work. The Toronto Blue Jays had their opportunities and they didn't work. You know, the Dodgers were able to do the things the Dodgers do. Is it possible to beat them? Are they the evil empire? Yes. Can somebody go in there and make play Luke Skywalker? Maybe. I can't guarantee that. I know that the Phillies love playing in LA. And, again, I was there at those games last year. Actually, they won that first game out in LA last year and then lost the second game, and that's how we lost the series. You know what I mean? And that went down to, and up until that point, I was saying that the first one to go to the bullpen loses, and we made it. We made that happen. The Dodgers went to the bullpen. It was just that Orion Kirkring, made a mistake, a mental mistake, and we lost the game. And those things happen, and they won the World Series based off of that one mistake that they got past our series. Could they have? Well, no. Had we won that game, could we have won the next game? Possibly. Would that mean we have won the World Series? No, I can't say any of that. You know, I know that the Dodgers did win the World Series, and it did take them 7 games against Toronto. And Toronto had their opportunities, but also made mistakes in Game 7. And that's, you know, and the Dodgers did not make those mistakes. And that's what this competition is all about. Taking advantage of the mistakes the other team makes, and the Dodgers are really good at that.
And that gets us to the top of the show. We appreciate everybody tuning in. If you're listening on 97.3 ICU Radio, we do have some smooth jazz headed your way. And of course, if you are listening everywhere else, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our content to you. Otherwise, we're going to get out of here. We'll see Cam next week. Otherwise, we'll see the rest of you tomorrow.
Have a good one, man. Thanks.